Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A video, answer segment type of video. Going to be giving my thoughts on a recent interview with AMC talking about the future of The Walking Dead, and also answering, of course, some of your guys' usual daily questions. So I'll put the link in the description to this one. This is from undeadwalking.com. Pretty good site for lots of Walking Dead info and news. Of course, through the channel, I'll always get you guys the latest news as well. So this one's from a recent interview, a recent article from Vulture website. And let's see, this is from the president of original programming and development at AMC, Joel Stillerman. So here is the quote, and then I'll give you my thoughts afterwards, and then we'll get into your guys' questions. So it says, the answer to how long the show will go on in some way is directly correlated with the health of the storyline in the comics. Those comics are firing on all cylinders. Robert Kirkman still writes every line of dialogue in those books and is as engaged as he was when I think he was sitting around in Kentucky writing the first issue, probably more so. That is very much part of the DNA of the show. We sort of felt like in real life this goes on for a very long time. We're along for that ride. And then it talks a little bit about how issue 150 is hitting this week, which, by the way, the review will be posted for that on Wednesday, as usual. Nothing changes there, guys. Always the reviews for the Walking Dead comic book series every time we get a new release. And I didn't get the predictions done for this one, so I apologize for that, just because we've been working on some other stuff and talking about show and that kind of deal. May have time by Wednesday, but that doesn't leave a whole lot of time because it's coming up pretty soon. Maybe for tomorrow. Maybe we could do that for... actually, yeah, it probably doesn't make sense because this will probably be released on Tuesday. Next one, or the next part is, I will tell you that we are not actively talking about the end of The Walking Dead. We're talking about how to keep this #1 show on television feeling as fresh as it does in Season 6. AMC Network Chief Charlie Collier said to Vulture, as a brand, we're very sensitive to making sure that every aspect of it feels fresh and original, and that it's not treated in any way that's derivative or taken for granted. Our planning is current and future focused, and it is not focused on the end at this time. Very cool. So, of course, it also says returns February 14th. So, pretty awesome. So, we're looking at about a month from today. About a month left. And we'll be getting to see the second half of Season 6, which is awesome. Can't wait, of course. So, okay. That's basically it. Check it out for yourselves if you want. That's the article and the interview and the way it went. So, no end in sight. So, I recently did a video talking about the future of The Walking Dead. Interesting that this article has just been released and they did an interview and they asked questions like this because we were just talking about this. And that is converting the comic book series to the television series in terms of year. And as you guys saw in that video, if you missed it, by the way, I'll put a link in the description or you can check it out in the channel. Talking about the future of the show and which comic book volume converts to which season, with season 8 being probably the all-out war story arc with Negan and the Saviors, so it should be probably our best season ever. Up to current date, it looks like if they go based on that time frame and they don't add in a whole half season or season of extra anywhere along the lines in the next few seasons, we're up to about season 10 in the comic book series based on that current time frame per season. That said, I do think there's a huge opportunity for them to really add in another season or 2 seasons even after about season 9 when there's a time skip in the Walking Dead comic book series, and that trade at the top, at your top right, my top left. A new beginning. So that right there, they should probably, instead of just skipping over the whole thing, I think they should get some original writing for it and maybe get Kirkman involved if they want to. They seem to be very adamant that it has to be from him. I'm not so, with the TV series, there's been a lot of stuff they've added in that really hasn't come from him that I think has turned out to be great. Really, really good stuff. So, I don't see a problem with them adding in maybe a whole season or at least half a season of new material. I think it would actually be worth it. It would be good. And it's good to hear that they're basing it on the source material. But I do like HBO's approach, too, with Game of Thrones, where just because they've caught up to A Song of Ice and Fire doesn't necessarily mean they're going to stop there. They're actually going to continue onwards, and they're going to just continue with the series and have different writers do it because it's caught up now. I hope if The Walking Dead ever gets to that point where it catches up or the comic book series ends, they decide, you know what, that's cool, but we're going to get other writers involved too. Maybe we can get Kirkman involved if he's interested, and just basically we're going to continue with it, and we're just going to keep it going as long as we can. As a fan, as a viewer, that's what I would like to see. I would like to see them just continue as long as they can, even if they run out of comic book source material in the teens, like maybe season 15 or 14 or something. I would hope they would just continue it onwards themselves, because the comic book series is its own version, TV series is its own version, and they don't have to be exactly the same. And I almost prefer, at this point, I would say I prefer them not to be. But write your comments below. Let me know what you guys think about that. No end in sight. And what would you like to see them do? If the comic book series ends around season 15 or 20 or something, would you like to see AMC continue on, or would you, with their own original story adaptation for it, or would you like to see them stop it when the comic book series storyline is eventually used up? So some good news for the most part for us fans. All right, first question for today is from Joe Stuckey, and again, another person who asked a lot of questions, and I used a lot of his questions. So guys, keep sending me your questions. For today, Joe's got, hope everything's good for you, man, or with you, I think he means. We don't have much longer until Season 6 returns, and I'm very excited. I'm excited too, of course, 1 month pretty much. Just wanted to know if you got a chance to watch the Better Call Saul Season 2 trailer on AMC's channel. It looks awesome, and we can see Jimmy McGill slowly becoming Saul Goodman. Maybe you could do a review on it or give your thoughts on it in a Q&A. As always, thanks for the great channel. Yeah, so I've seen the trailer. It's not much of a trailer. It's only like 30 seconds. It's barely anything. I do like the image of him where he's walking slanted. It's like crooked. You know, it's crooked, right? Crooked lawyer. I like that. That's pretty smart. I thought that was clever. So I like that. Yeah, I'm really excited for Better Call Saul Season 2. It airs about the same week as The Walking Dead returns. Yeah, it does. It airs on the Monday. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see it. But I do wish that AMC would space out their stuff a little bit better. Because what happens is they put all their stuff during the regular year. And then in the summer, they don't really have much for us. You know, there's not many shows in AMC during July to August. So hopefully this year, Fear will take care of that for us. But I do think it would have been cool if they would have put Better Call Saul on during the winter when The Walking Dead wasn't on or something. I don't know. That's just the way I would prefer it. But yeah, I can't wait for Better Call Saul. Love Breaking Bad, and still intend one day, when I get time, I intend to watch Breaking Bad over again, because it's one of those series that you could just watch, you know, over and over again. It's just so... It's so good. There's so many amazing episodes, and it's one of those really high-quality drama series that there are not many that are that type of quality. It's so good. Next one's from Fox_Pop_613. Hey, Trevor, big fan of your channel. I have a quick question. How do you feel about the theory that U.S. President Barack Obama is a shape-shifting lizard man that is trying to take over the world? This is. I would say this started from David Icke. I think so. He's kind of the guy who talks about this. You know, I don't know. He talks about archons and stuff like that. You know, it's like, oh man. You know, there's conspiracy channels out there you can take a look at. There's conspiracy, theory channels that you can go through. One of the ones who subscribes to me, The Scariest Movie Ever, I guess he watches some of my videos. He's a subscriber. Channel's bigger than mine. You know, he's doing an awesome job. Check out his channel if you guys are interested. And you can check out David Icke on YouTube too if you're interested. He's got he's got a shady history though. One time he said on TV he was the son of God or something. I don't know, something like that. Like proclaiming himself as modern day Jesus or something, and people laughed at him. This kind of deal. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, okay, so there's obviously some propaganda with regards to the U.S. media. There's obviously some stuff going on that they don't necessarily tell the regular population everything that's going on, and what they're doing. A lot of times the things that they're doing don't necessarily make sense, and they seem to be kind of chaotic. But you have people getting switched out a lot. So you have the Bush administration, they come in, they want to launch the war in Iraq and everything, and then you get Barack who comes in and he does his own thing. So and how much power do they really have, and how many decisions do they really make? When you have corporate interests and big corporations out there that have their own agendas and their own interests, and you get kind of the chaos of the world. Trying to understand the chaos of the world is a tricky thing, because the world, there are so many variables in what happens to economies, society, countries. It's just insane, all the different aspects of things, and trying to understand that all, and trying to understand, there's some things you just can't know. There's some things you can't understand. You can't know a lot of the background details of things that are going on. you could try to speculate. You could try to like there's channels that they try to act like they know. Not Scariest Movie Ever. I'm not talking about him. I'm just talking about in general people, conspiracy theories like David Icke and stuff. They try to act like they have all the answers, that kind of thing. You kind of have to be comfortable with knowing that you can't know everything. It's not possible. And there are always going to be things that are going to be hidden from the general public. There's always going to be stuff that is spun one way in the media, but there's something else going on. And a lot of times it's really hard to say or no. But do I think he's no, of course not. Though that's when they get a little bit too far. They go a little bit too far. But there is some shady stuff going on sometimes, and I think there's a lot of evidence for certain things that happen. Especially with regards to war and that, and the war machine. My opinion is it should just stop. Let countries sort themselves out and just leave it be. Taxpayers are getting raped, paying so much money to keep the military, like for example, the U.S. military, even Canada too, military being way bigger than it needs to be. Huge in terms of budget and taxes, and everybody's paying for this. And you don't let those countries sort out their own problems. You know what I mean? It's not. That's my stance on it. It's not. Our job over here in North America to police the world or the Middle East or whatever the hell is going on, chaos is going on over there. They attack Iraq, they destabilize the whole place, and good luck. You can't control people. You can't control people like that. Even if you have military power like that, the world is too big to be controlled by one country or one nation, I would say. Anyway, let's go on from that because I don't want to do the whole video just talking about conspiracy stuff, but those are my thoughts on it. At some point, you have to be comfortable with knowing that you're not going to know everything. Some stuff out there is probably true, but again, you can't say for sure. You don't know 100% for sure. Next one's from Ben Dixon, and he says, "Hey, Trev, absolutely love your channel. I was wondering your thoughts on whether or not Tara will take Holly's place in the comics, not as Abraham's lover, but as the person Negan kidnapped." So we're getting into some spoiler territory, heads up for people who don't want to know about later events, but Holly doesn't exist in the TV series, so it doesn't matter. Turns into a zombie and then uses her to attack Alexandria. I think it'd be fitting for Tara to take Holly's place because her and Denise are lovers, and in the comics, zombie Holly kisses Denise. This would make nice. This would make the scene in the comics even more brutal, in my opinion. That's a great prediction, man, because we don't know what they're going to do with Tara, and I don't feel like she's a long-term survivor. Like, she'll probably be around for maybe a little bit longer. She's been around for a couple seasons now, but I don't think she's going to be around in season 12 or something. I'd highly doubt that. Let's see, we'll do a couple more. This one's from Domino12, and he says, "Hey, Trav, I have two questions for you. The first is, you see the trailer for the new Berserk anime coming this year. The second is that it appeared that Frank Darabont was doing one volume of The Walking Dead per season. Notice how the first volume takes up the first season, and the second volume would take up the second season. If he wrote a third season, would it have only covered the third volume? This would mean that we would still be at the prison in the show. Thanks, keep up the great work." That's hard to even fathom. So first of all, the Berserk thing, yeah, man, really excited to see new Berserk, but don't know what they have for us. Again, I don't want to get my hopes up because they've released a lot of Berserk stuff in the past. They go through the Golden Age arc, and then as soon as they get into stuff that we've never seen in anime, they stop. Apparently this one is supposed to include some of it. I'm not sure if it's an OVA or if it's a long-running anime series. I wish they would do a long-running anime series of Berserk. It could be one of the best anime of all time. But will they do that? We'll have to wait and see. I don't want to get my hopes up because it may not go down that way. We'll see. So the second part to your question is, if Frank Darabont was still doing the show or if he was still going, and we'll make this the last question. So the first two seasons of The Walking Dead, they don't necessarily cover only one trade. They kind of cover more because Herschel is involved, right? And in the first trade, yeah, it's the stuff with Shane. The second trade, it covers more in season 2 than it would. So it's not exactly one. But I do think you're right about Frank Darabont that he did like to slow things down, analyze, get the emotions, create those character dynamics and connections, and really do a great job of that to really make the audience feel for your characters and take it slow, take it easy, And he's a master, man. Frank Darabont is just a master of what he does, of course. Which is why The Walking Dead is now even a show at all. Is because he's smart, and he thinks about these things and about adapting and everything. And it's a damn shame that he's not involved with the series anymore. I think AMC, well, no one person is needed for The Walking Dead 100%. The most important person would be Robert Kirkman, probably, but as we see with Game of Thrones is continuing without George R.R. Martin. So even then, it's like once the war machine gets started, once the machine gets started, it's one person by themselves, could be taken out, and that's fine. Even Andrew Lincoln could be taken out, and the series could go forward, right? Maybe it would not be quite as good, but it would still go forward, or Scott Gimple or whoever. So that said, it may not be, like I said, the quality may be different. But yeah, that would be weird to see The Walking Dead at a way slower pace. They've definitely amped up the pace in seasons 5 and 6. For the most part, I like it though. With what they've done. But I do think Frank Darabont too, he was Season 1's pacing was pretty fast because there was only 6 episodes. Season 2, he got pissed off because he knew it wasn't as good as the first season. He knew the quality wasn't as great. So he was good because he's like a QA guy, like he's a quality assurance guy. He's making sure that what they're putting out is top quality. And if it isn't, he's willing to go to bat for the fans. So you got to love that. But again, as we were talking about earlier, there's, the world is not that simple. It's not that black and white. There are lots of shades of gray in there. And, it would have been great if he would have kept on with the show. And it's kind of sad that he isn't involved with it anymore at all, basically. But, yeah, it would have been a lot different. I still think that if he was involved, the show would have been just as good, if not even better, maybe. Even though it might have been a little bit slower in terms of pace. The one advantage to that, though, is that he added in more stuff. He expanded on Shane's character and on kind of the emotions there and the ties and the importance of that. And other directors, if they had Glenn Mazzar from the start, he would have blown through the Shade stuff probably in the first season. And again, you run out with stuff to do. So Scott Gimple has done a great job of kind of mixing where both were at, finding a good pace overall, I think, and having the show go forward, very well, and brought it to even a higher level. So that's all I got to say for this one, guys. If you liked this Q&A, you can thumb it up below. If you want to support the channel, you can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this video today. See you guys again probably tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow will be Wednesday, so for the review for The Walking Dead 150. Can't wait for it. So I was just Trev, saying peace.